While many musicians shine on stage with incredible talent and charm, there are some whose actions and behavior offstage make them difficult to meet in person. Despite their musical genius, these artists have shown controversial conduct, legal problems, or attitudes that can be unsettling. Fans often admire their work, but when it comes to their real personalities, things can be very different. Their behavior might include confrontations, arrogance, or even dangerous actions, which prevent any desire to actually encounter them. Some have reputations for being hostile, erratic, or unapproachable, making the idea of meeting them unappealing or risky. For each artist on this list, fans might wonder how their offstage actions match the performances and personas they see on stage. Because of these traits, some musicians have become infamous not just for their music, but also for their challenging personalities or misconduct. Here are 20 musicians you probably would not want to meet in real life, and the reasons why. Despite his fame as the iconic lead singer of Culture Club, Boy George, whose real name is George O'Dowd, became known for more than just his music. He rose to fame during the 1980s with his distinctive voice and flamboyant style, which challenged traditional ideas about gender and fashion. His androgynous appearance and bold fashion choices made him a symbol of the pop culture revolution, inspiring many people around the world. However, behind the glamorous image, Boy George faced serious personal problems, especially with drug addiction that affected his life deeply. Throughout the 80s, he struggled with substance abuse, which led to several incidents involving drugs and legal issues. One of the most notorious moments came in 2009 during a scandal involving a naked photo session at his home with a male escort. During this incident, Boy George's cocaine use was suspected to have worsened the situation, leading him to react impulsively. He handcuffed the escort to a wall fixture and, in a further escalation, used straps, adult toys, and chains to physically assault him. The escort was able to break free and escape, but Boy George faced legal consequences and was sentenced to 15 months in prison, serving only 4 because of his celebrity status. These personal struggles show that fame can often come with heavy personal costs, and Boy George's life reflects the complex relationship between artistic success and personal challenges. His story serves as a reminder that behind the glittering public image, many artists face battles that are not always visible to fans. Since then, Billy Bob Thornton has built a reputation primarily as an actor, known for his roles in many popular films and TV shows. However, he also has a passion for music and performs with his band called the Boxmasters. Despite his musical talent, he prefers to keep his acting and music careers separate. When someone mentions his acting background, Thornton often reacts with visible irritation, showing that he does not want the two worlds to overlap in conversation. This was very clear in a well-known interview on a radio station in Toronto. The host, John Gizai, talked about Thornton's acting experience, but Thornton responded in a hostile and uncomfortable manner. He seemed upset and dismissive when asked about how the band was formed, answering bluntly that he did not know what they were talking about. Even when the host brought up that the Boxmasters were touring with famous singer Willie Nelson, Thornton insisted he had never met Nelson. The interview quickly became tense, with Thornton showing hostility and making jokes at the host's expense. Later, he defended his attitude by saying he was told not to talk about his acting career at all, but the situation worsened. When it was time for their live performance in the studio, Thornton refused to take part, claiming he had no drums with him, and then he abruptly left. His actions made the audience and organizers angry, and his behavior was seen as arrogant and unprofessional. As a result, the band's shows in Toronto were marred. They were booed off stage, and 2 more concerts had to be canceled because of the controversy. Even years after that incident, Thornton has not shown remorse. Instead, he continues to focus on both his acting and music, but he remains very sensitive about how the two careers might clash. The 2009 incident is still remembered as a moment that affected his public image. Despite this, Thornton's dedication to his craft keeps him relevant, though he often prefers to keep his music and acting separate to avoid more conflicts or misunderstandings. Since you mentioned that Dave Navarro is a musician who played in bands like Jane's Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers, it is important to understand that he is known for more than just his music. Navarro has a very distinctive look that makes him easy to recognize. He often wears eyeliner and paints his nails, which gives him a unique style that stands out from other musicians. This style has helped shape his image as a person who is not afraid to be different and express himself openly. His solo album called Trust no one gives listeners a deeper look into his life. The album is very personal and shows his struggles and inner demons. Many songs on the album are full of raw emotion, showing that Navarro has faced many tough times. His reputation reaches beyond his music because of his controversial behavior. In the late 1990s, Navarro visited Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion. During that visit, he indulged in excess and provocative behavior that shocked many people. It is said that he consumed illicit substances and did things that were considered dangerous and outrageous. One of the most shocking events was that he marked the mansion's walls with his own blood. This was captured on security footage, which added to his notorious reputation. Hugh Hefner was very upset by Navarro's actions and decided to ban him from returning to the Playboy Mansion. Navarro's wild behavior did not stop there. It even led to his being fired from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This series of events shows how his actions in that period created a controversial image that many people still talk about today. His persona, combined with his music and personal stories, makes him one of the most memorable figures in rock history. Since you asked for a detailed message about Eric Clapton based on the provided summary, I will focus on his reputation as a legendary guitarist and the controversial moments in his life. Clapton is widely considered one of the greatest guitarists in history, especially among fans of rock music. His ability to write timeless songs and play some of the most iconic riffs and solos has earned him great respect. Many admire his skill and musical talent, which has influenced countless musicians over the years. However, his reputation is complicated by moments of controversy. During a concert in Birmingham in 1976, Clapton had an uncontrolled outburst fueled by drugs and alcohol. He shouted to the crowd to keep Britain white and expressed support for a racist politician, chanting racial slurs and making it clear he did not want people of color in Britain. Fans and the public were shocked and disappointed by his actions. In the years that followed, Clapton apologized for his behavior, blaming his substance abuse for his terrible outburst. Despite his remorse, he sometimes still makes excuses, saying he was close friends with black people or that he had dated a black woman. These incidents cast a shadow over his legacy, reminding everyone that even revered musicians are human and can make serious mistakes. His story highlights the complex nature of fame and the importance of accountability. Despite being the frontman of the influential 80s and 90s hair metal band Skid Row, Sebastian Bach has a controversial history both on and off stage. Fans still remember him fondly for his powerful voice and energetic performances, but his personal actions have often overshadowed his musical talents. In 1989, he wore a t-shirt that mocked the AIDS crisis, which many found offensive and insensitive. That same year, during a concert, he threw a bottle from the stage, hitting a woman in the face and causing injury. These incidents left a complicated picture of his personality. Over the years, people have debated whether he has changed, especially as time passed. In 2010, Bach visited a local bar in his hometown in Ontario, where live music was performed regularly. He asked the singer to join his friends and sing, but the bar staff directed him to the pub's manager. Instead of accepting this politely, Bach and his group began to heckle the singer loudly, even throwing ice cubes at him from their seats, creating a tense and uncomfortable scene. The staff became nervous and politely asked Bach's group to leave. When he tried to take his glass of wine with him, the owner refused, which made Bach break the glass in frustration. The owner, feeling threatened, called the police. Instead of calming down, Bach took offense and reacted aggressively, making the situation more chaotic. His behavior that day reflected a person who can be unpredictable and unhinged. Many fans wonder whether Sebastian Bach has truly changed from his earlier days, or if he still carries the same unpredictable edge. Despite his success as the lead singer and creative force behind the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan's reputation extends beyond his music. In the 1990s, he gained fame with powerful alternative rock anthems like Zero, which expressed anger and dissatisfaction. His voice became a symbol for many young people who felt misunderstood or jaded by society. However, behind the scenes, Corgan often caused controversy through disputes and conflicts. He is known for having numerous feuds, some with close friends and partners. One of the most talked about relationships was with Courtney Love, the lead singer of Hole. They dated before she married Kurt Cobain and resumed their relationship after his death. Corgan even worked on their album Celebrity Skin, which received critical praise. Still, he later publicly criticized the album, criticizing Love and her work. Years later, he was involved in other disputes, especially when songs he wrote for Love's solo album were used without his consent. He responded harshly on Twitter, telling her to go away and live off her husband's money. His aggressive behavior also appeared in other incidents. In 2011, he verbally attacked a trans woman in a way that many saw as insensitive and bigoted. Then in 2016, he appeared on the conservative Alex Jones show and made controversial comparisons, equating social justice warriors with the Ku Klux Klan and Maoists. These remarks drew widespread criticism. Despite the backlash, Corgan refused to apologize for his actions. His public persona has been marked by these conflicts and outspoken opinions, which have affected how many see him today. Over the years, his reputation has been clouded by these incidents, even though his music remains influential. His complex personality has left a lasting impression, with some viewing him as a talented artist and others as a figure of controversy. Despite his fame and success, 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, often looks angry and tough. Many say this is because of his difficult past, including surviving 9 gunshot wounds. Usually, people who go through such hardship might become more kind and hopeful about life, but 50 Cent seems to hold a lot of anger inside. This anger affects not just strangers he does not know, but also his own family. His relationship with his son, Mares Jackson, has been troubled for over 10 years. They have had many fights and disagreements that the public has heard about. In 2018, after seeing a photo of Mares on Instagram, 50 Cent shockingly said he wouldn't care if his son got hit by a bus. Such harsh words reflect the deep resentment he feels. Besides his family, 50 Cent has also been involved in other controversial incidents. He once mocked a teenage airport worker on a live video. The boy was just trying to do his job and avoid eye contact, but 50 Cent accused him of being high on drugs because of his behaviors and dilated pupils. Later, it was shown that the boy had autism and social anxiety, not a drug problem. Because of this, many people criticized 50 Cent for his harsh comment, especially when his apologies seemed less than sincere. His tough exterior and negative attitude make him someone most people wouldn't want to meet in real life. While many know Vince Neil as the charismatic frontman of a famous band, his life has been filled with controversial moments that make him a figure to be cautious of. He is well known for his wild personality both on and off the stage, which has often led to trouble. In 1984, Neil was involved in a tragic car accident while driving under the influence of alcohol. This reckless act resulted in the death of his passenger, Nicholas Razzle Dingley, who was the drummer of Hanoi Rocks. Despite the severity of the incident, Neil served only a short jail sentence of 15 days and was placed on probation for 5 years. Many might think such a tragic event would change him, but sadly, it did not. Over the years, Neil faced many more issues related to alcohol. He was charged with driving under the influence multiple times, including incidents in 2007 and 2010, which show ongoing struggles with alcohol-related problems. Additionally, Neil's behavior has sometimes become aggressive and unpredictable. For example, during a fan encounter in Las Vegas, Neil got into a heated altercation with actor Nicolas Cage. Neil mistook a young woman's friendly approach for aggression and forcefully pulled her by the hair, causing her to fall to the ground. Nicolas Cage stepped in to try to calm the situation, pulling Neil away and attempting to defuse the tension. Both men were reportedly intoxicated at the time. Despite Cage's efforts, Neil was charged with misdemeanor battery, demonstrating his continued difficulties with managing his issues with alcohol. All these incidents suggest that Neil's troubles with alcohol are persistent and have caused harm to several people around him. These controversies paint a picture of a man whose wild persona masks ongoing struggles, making him someone people wouldn't want to meet in real life. Despite Kanye West's undeniable talent as a musician and producer, his presence in the spotlight is often overshadowed by controversy and unpredictable behavior. He is known for his inflated ego, which frequently causes tension with others and alienates both fans and critics. One of his most notorious traits is his chronic tardiness at performances, where he often leaves audiences waiting for hours or cancels shows suddenly. When he does perform, West can be unpredictable, sometimes engaging in rambling monologues, taking long breaks for impromptu rants, or appearing to be under the influence of drugs. A notable incident happened in 2014 during a concert in Sydney, where West stopped the show to demand that everyone stand up because he saw a fan in a wheelchair who could not comply. He publicly shamed the fan and insisted that the person should rise, despite knowing it was impossible for them to do so. This act sparked widespread criticism for its insensitivity. A few days later, at another event in Australia, West doubled down, asking those not standing to produce proof of disability if they refused to comply. That demand was also condemned by many as discriminatory and offensive. Even with his musical talent, these actions have led to a pattern of behavior that alienates fans and perpetuates negative stereotypes about marginalized groups. His behavior often leads people to question his professionalism and respect for others, making him a controversial figure in the music world. Certainly, despite his fame as a talented drummer, Tommy Lee is well known for his wild and unpredictable behavior. As the founder of the band Mötley Crüe, he helped create a reputation for outrageous antics and scandalous stories. His personal life has often been in the spotlight, especially because of his tumultuous relationship with Pamela Anderson. During the 1990s, their relationship drew a lot of public attention, especially with the release of the infamous honeymoon tape recorded in 1995. The tape was stolen and widely circulated in 1996, causing a media frenzy. Lee's troubles continued when he was arrested in 1998 and sentenced to 6 months in jail and 3 years of probation for spousal violence. One of the most public incidents involved an altercation with Anderson while she was holding their baby during a disagreement over her parents' visit. His provocative nature also led to more than just personal problems. During a concert in North Carolina, Lee and bandmate Nikki Sixx poured beer on a security guard, which led to charges of inciting a riot. On another serious note, there was an incident at Lee's home during his son's birthday party where drowning occurred. This resulted in a legal battle, but Lee was ultimately acquitted in 2018. More recently, he was hospitalized after a physical fight with his grown-up son, showing that even later in life, he remained involved in intense and sometimes destructive incidents. Despite all these events, Lee's reputation remains that of a man who lives boldly and often finds himself at the center of controversy. His story is filled with wild moments that caught the world's attention and made him a legendary yet controversial figure. Despite Brian Wilson's groundbreaking work in creating the album Pet Sounds, which is considered one of the greatest records ever made, Mike Love did not share his excitement. When Love first heard a sample of what would become Pet Sounds, he mocked Wilson by saying that only a dog's ears would hear the sound. This remark hurt Wilson and seemed to fuel his desire to name the album Pet Sounds. Love's difficult attitude did not stop there. In 1992, he went further and successfully sued Wilson for songwriting credits on many old Beach Boys songs. Over 10 years later, in 2005, Love also took legal action against Wilson, accusing him of misusing their band's name by distributing a Beach Boys CD to promote Wilson's solo album, which had also been a project organized by the band in the 1960s, but was never finished. This controversy shows how Love's hostility was not just directed at Wilson. His disagreements with Wilson were fierce and ongoing. On top of that, when the Beach Boys were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988, Love caused a scene by criticizing other famous bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. He was proud of the Beach Boys' busy schedule and tried to downplay the importance of other legendary musicians at the event. His behavior and disputes left many fans and fellow musicians surprised and disappointed. After gaining fame for his soulful voice and charismatic presence, CeeLo Green faced a difficult period in his career during 2012 and 2013. It all started when serious allegations surfaced against him. He was accused of providing a woman with drugs and then assaulting her, which made many people question his character and reputation. These accusations cast a dark shadow over his previously successful career. In response to the allegations, Green entered a plea of no contest to a drug felony charge, which meant he admitted there was enough evidence for a conviction, but did not admit guilt. Lieutenant, he was sentenced to 3 years of probation, required to complete 45 days of community service. However, the assault charges were eventually dropped because there wasn't enough evidence to prove the incident. Despite this, Green's controversy did not end there. He took to Twitter and made a series of comments about assault that caused even more outrage. Some of his remarks suggested that an unconscious person could still give consent, which sparked widespread condemnation from the public and advocacy groups fighting against violence toward women. Recognizing the damage caused by his words, Green quickly deleted the tweets and issued a public apology. In his apology, he stated that he would never support harm against women and regretted his earlier comments. Yet, the scandal left a lasting mark on his career. damaging his reputation and credibility not only in the music industry but also in the eyes of the public. Despite efforts to repair his image, the incident remains a significant chapter in his life and career. Although Jennifer Lopez is known as a major actress and a hugely successful pop singer, she often says that she is still just a normal person. She highlights her humble roots in her hit song Jenny from the Block. However, there are many signs that suggest she prefers not to spend much time with ordinary people. An associate of Lopez once said that she doesn't speak directly to salespeople, restaurant or hotel staff, or flight attendants. Instead, she only communicates through her assistants. For example, a flight attendant recalled once asking Lopez for a beverage, but she did not acknowledge him. Lopez turned her head away and told her personal assistant to request a Diet Coke with lime instead. In 2012, a maid working at a hotel in Germany told Us Weekly that she asked Lopez for an autograph, but her assistant refused her request. The maid said she was fired the next day after Lopez complained. Lopez has also made comments about other famous actresses. In a 1998 interview, she called Cameron Diaz a lucky model who had many opportunities, but said she wished Diaz had achieved more with them. She also noted that Winona Ryder gets nominated for Oscars, but claimed she had never heard anyone say they loved Ryder's work. The harshest remark was about Gwyneth Paltrow, whom Lopez said she couldn't remember anything about, because she did not think Paltrow had made an impression on her. All these stories suggest that Lopez may not be as down-to-earth as she appears to be, and that she might prefer to keep her distance from regular people. Since the video titled 20 Musicians You Wouldn't Want to Meet in Real Life, here is why features Morrissey, it is important to understand the background that makes him a controversial figure. Morrissey is best known as the former frontman of the band The Smiths, which gained a large following in the 1980s, and established him as a significant influence in the music industry. After leaving the band, he continued his career as a solo artist, producing many albums that showcased his distinctive voice and lyrical style. However, his reputation extends beyond music. Throughout his career, Morrissey has attracted attention for making statements and engaging in behaviors that some people found offensive or provocative. He has expressed strong opinions on social and political issues, often resulting in public criticism. For example, Morrissey has spoken out about immigration, claiming in a 2017 interview that the British identity was being lost due to immigration. Critics argued that his comments had xenophobic undertones, and when questioned about this, Morrissey denied being racist or xenophobic. Still, his remarks left many people feeling upset and offended. Morrissey also supports animal rights and vegetarianism, and he has been vocal about these causes. Yet, his approach sometimes caused controversy. During an interview with The Guardian, he criticized animal abuse in China, but then made an extremely shocking statement, claiming that Chinese people are like a subspecies. This remark caused outrage, especially from animal rights groups and the Chinese community, who felt insulted and hurt by his words. Furthermore, Morrissey's comments related to recent social issues have also been widely condemned. When the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke, instead of showing empathy for victims of assault, Morrissey made comments that many found hurtful. He suggested that some victims might see their experiences as only disappointing and dismiss the seriousness of the allegations. This response angered many people and drew significant backlash. In addition, he has been involved in conflicts with public figures. For instance, he blamed singer Kate Middleton for a prank call incident involving a radio station, which many saw as an unfair attack. He also minimized the tragic Norway massacre in 2011, expressing a dismissive attitude toward the victims. Morrissey's comments about Elton John were also controversial. He openly expressed his desire for Elton John's demise, which many found hostile and uncalled for. Because of these behaviors and statements, Morrissey has become a divisive figure, not only in music but also in broader social circles. His outspoken nature and controversial opinions have made him a personality that many would prefer not to meet in real life, given the potential for conflict or uncomfortable conversations. Despite his musical talent, his polarizing opinions and inflammatory remarks have cast a shadow over his career, making him a figure of intense debate and criticism in popular